Hello, Asbury Church. It is Monday morning still, right?
It's still morning. It's morning somewhere.
It's morning somewhere.
Yes.
And we are here with Pastor Rick for our Monday moment with a pastor.
Mm-hmm.
How's it going?
It's good. It's good, Sarah. It's good to see you in church yesterday. Your parents
and
were
my
in church.
parents, yep.
That's good to see
Trying to
them.
convert them.
Yeah.
Nah,
well,
they're
there you
Methodist
go.
already,
That's a
so I
job.
don't know. There's
That's
no
a
hope.
job. So, it's a good day, though. I mean, it's one of those deals where we don't know what it's going to look like for a long time, but it's good to see live people.
It is
in
good.
person.
And hear the singing and worshiping. It's all good.
Yeah, and we're talking about music for the next few weeks, so I'm jacked about that.
And I tell you, the comments on Facebook were so positive. They loved it. Man, I think you might need to extend this one a little
I've not
bit.
had a chance to sit down with Nathan yet today.
Oh, gosh.
So, he may be looking at me like with these big eyes, like, what just happened?
Going through hymn detox. Is that where he is this morning?
We're trying to get that guy saved.
Yeah, we're working on it.
We're working on it. But it was a good day.
It was a good day.
And we're going to come back to it next week. We're going to talk about a song called America the Beautiful. It's the 4th of July weekend, and I don't know if everybody knows all the words to the various verses of that song. It's going to push our buttons a little bit. So for such a time as this, I think it's a great song we can look at, good scripture to go with it. So I encourage you all to join us one way or another, in person or online, like you've been doing. So
Yes.
It's been great.
It has been great.
Mm-hmm.
Our numbers online have been great too.
Yeah.
So people are chit-chatting and saying hello, and the Asbury family's together regardless of in person or not.
Yep, it's good.
all
So
good.
you and Wendy tomorrow night.
We do.
Bible study.
Is at 7:00. We have, I think, 12 signed up right now, which is great.
Excellent.
We can take a couple more if people want to sign up late, but they need to let me know probably today so I can get them all the information to get signed up. It is
Let
a
her to
Zoom.
know today.
Let me know today. Go online or call the church office. I can do that too.
And it's entitled
The Pursuit.
The Pursuit.
Pursuing God, but also God's pursuit of us.
Prevenient
I
grace
know.
and all those good things
Yep.
that go with it.
It's
So,
going to be a good one. So on Zoom, so online. Make it nice and easy for everybody. Yep.
And
4
then-
weeks. It's short and sweet.
4 weeks.
Yep.
Right, all on Zoom. We'll continue our prayer time on Wednesdays, Facebook Live. We appreciate everybody who joins us for that. If you have some prayer concerns, let us know, or praises. We enter into that together. And then, really we're moving into the 4th of July weekend, so there'll be, on Monday, the offices will be closed. Just so you all know that. Not that you're all coming to the office as of late, like for 3 months, but be that as it may, just so you know. But we'll be here Sunday to worship together. So those are
Exactly.
some things going on right now.
We got a few things going,
Yep,
don't we?
got a few things going on.
Busy.
Well, speaking of a few things going on, maybe
Yes.
some of you happen to have heard of this word COVID, COVID-19,
Few people.
coronavirus. We have with us this morning Dr. J.P. Smith. You all know him if you're an Asburian. You've served on the board as a board chair for at least a couple times, maybe more. Been here how long here at Asbury?
Over 30 years.
Over 30
Yeah.
years. He and his wife Sherry, instrumental in leadership here at the church. A retired surgeon, although he's still very active in that as far as mission trips and so forth, but very active in the medical community. And I just felt it would be good that maybe he and I could have a conversation with all of you folks to talk about the coronavirus, COVID-19 more specific, because there's a variety of coronaviruses, plural. So we want to talk about masks today and some things that can be helpful. And I know there is every opinion under the sun regarding masks. We are not here to guilt anyone, shame anyone, say you're wrong, you're right, you're better, you're worse. We're not here to talk about that. We're just trying to look at some of the, as Joe Friday would say, just the facts, ma'am. So we're trying to look at some of the facts with regards to how we can live through a time such as this, honor one another, love one another, be gracious to one another as we work through this. So that's a little bit of our conversation you and I have had. And so let's talk about the mask thing just a little bit, if you would. And I mean, JP's got a lot of information for us that I think is helpful. It's helpful for me. So if you could share a little bit why maybe it's important that we do so, and why are people also nervous about it and all that kind of stuff.
Sure. As a surgeon, and that's what I did for my entire career, I basically have worn a mask since the late 60s. So I've never seen anybody pass out because they were wearing a mask. We wear them in the operating room for sometimes 8 to 10 to 12 hours a day.
Oh my.
But you do that because that's what you do. And the reason that we did that is not to protect us from our patients, but primarily to protect the patients from us.
Mm-hmm.
So we wear a mask to keep our germs from going inside someone who has their defenses down, for instance, by having a surgery or having an incision. Consequently, you can get through their defenses very easily. So we wear a mask. Have a couple of different kinds. This is just a basic surgery mask.
Mm-hmm.
The types that I wore for most of my career were very similar to this.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them had the ties, and you don't see many of those today in people because it takes so long to tie them up and get them secured. When we're in the operating room, you do that once and you keep it on for the entire operation, so you're not taking it off and putting it on. The N95 mask looks a little bit different, and the N95 just has to do with how small the pores are in it, prevent things from coming back and forth.
This is the best mask, they say.
This is the
whoever
one
they
that
is.
most of the healthcare workers are using to help protect them from COVID-19. And I think the common denominator is when we talk about masks today, we're talking about me not giving you something rather than me getting something from you. So it's really an act that I'm doing to protect you. The third type is the cloth mask. And this is one that my wife did for me, and it works just fine. It's a little bit bulkier. We actually have built inside of it a little pocket that you can put a coffee filter or something to make it even stronger. You know, there was initially concern as people were talking about the mask going, well, but those masks don't prevent the viruses from getting through there. And that is, in fact, coronaviruses or any of the viruses don't have wings. They don't fly. They don't propel themselves. They have to stick to air droplets, moisture. And so when we cough or when we sing or when we sneeze or yell, moisture comes out of our lungs that those viral particles can ride on and to get to another person. Masks don't prevent it all. It doesn't prevent everything from happening. And so that's why it's so important that it's part of the process that you wear a mask, but you wash your hands, you don't touch your eyes, you don't bite your fingernails, all of those kinds of things that you do in addition to the mask. And that whole package does decrease the chances of people getting or giving the COVID-19 bacteria.
So I think you were telling me earlier that there are, some studies or some graphs that will show us with regards to those who wore masks and those who didn't. They did a little petri dish thing and so forth. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, that was on a news reporter in the Oregon area. And basically what he did was had the reporter cough, talk, and sneeze and make these little petri dishes in front of him at 2 feet, 4 feet, 6 feet, wearing a mask, not wearing a mask, and then incubate them all 24 hours. It was phenomenal to see how many bacterial cultures were growing in the side without a mask. So it was better to wear a mask than not wear a mask. It was better to be 4 feet than 2 feet, and better 6 feet than 4. So all of those social distancing things make the difference. Like I say, the virus itself has to get into your system somehow. Just being in the same room with someone with COVID doesn't give you COVID. Those droplets have to get on your hands, have to go into your mouth, something to be able to transport it. So that's why it's the whole combination of things. Why we have the pews roped off to do the social distancing, to give you some distance, which helps. The hand gel or the washing to help minimize you from taking it from what you're touching and putting in your mouth. And then the third part is the mask part to just limit the spread.
So if let's just say somebody in church on Sunday morning, because that's all we're meeting right now. Let's say someone happened to have it by sitting in a particular pew over here. Sarah's sitting with her family over here. We got people scattered about. It doesn't mean any of them will get it. It does not mean they will, but it doesn't mean they won't. But it just because a person has it doesn't mean they will get it. The tendency could be, though, if this person does sneeze at whatever the case may be.
And it's also exposure time. There was a report in Missouri probably 3 weeks ago that a hairdressing salon opened up before they should have. And sure enough, 2 of the hairdressers had COVID-19. So they contacted all of their clients for the next, that period of time that they worked. 184 people they contacted. Not one of them got COVID.
Wow.
0.
Yeah.
They all wore masks.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
So here's as about as close a contact as you can get. Everybody knows hairdressers talk a lot, so there's lots of talking.
We could
going
run
on.
down that road.
But none of those 184 people got COVID-19.
Yeah.
So you have to say and look at it, is it foolproof? No. But
Yeah.
it gives us some tool to work with to try to help.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of conspiracy theorists out there about all this and the politicizing. That's a word, I think. We're trying to avoid that here.
Yes.
Okay, we're just trying to look at the facts best we can, because everybody likes to make politics out of everything. And like you were saying earlier, I don't think you did it yet with us on the video, the interview here, that reporters will take little snippets.
Yeah.
Why don't you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, with the large volume of the literature that's coming out, a new article, a medical article, every 26 seconds.
Oh my gosh! No wonder we're inundated.
Almost 5,000 articles a day. You cannot digest all of that. But there's a difference between a medical article and an article that is being reviewed by a non-medical reporter, or even if they call themselves a medical reporter, still nonetheless, they're taking snippets, bits and pieces, and we don't have the context. But we have that 24-hour news cycle with Twitter going around the clock, Facebook, plus the news sources. So consequently, so many bits and pieces, and then they keep coming back up. If you happen to click on it, then it comes up more often. So every day
Sure.
you look at, oh my goodness, it's spiking in XYZ. And all of this is local. It's hard to have a national policy in a country as wide and diverse as the United States and have the rules fit everybody. We saw that early on, and certainly what works in New York City is kind of out of place in Leota, Kansas.
Yeah. And I was sharing with him, Leota is in Wichita County. We are in Wichita, Kansas, which is Sedgwick County. So far, there have been no cases in Wichita County. There have been many cases in Wichita, Kansas. How we respond here is going to be different than how they respond out there. And, I'm invited to a wedding in Dodge City here in a couple weeks with regards to a person from Leota. And I'm thinking, okay, I really want to go. Our plan is to go. And, I want to be careful in all this because, the last thing I want to do is for some reason, be a carrier. And I've also heard that asymptomatic, people who don't have the symptoms but yet maybe are carrying it really can't give it to somebody. Now, I don't know about that.
Yeah, and we don't know about that.
Yeah.
The studies have been kind of both ways. And the thing is, we're dealing with a disease that is so new and unique. For us, there is no such thing as new and unique. Everything is recycled so quickly. But quite frankly, from a medical standpoint, we just don't have enough time to be able to give you long-term information about how long will people stay immune after they get COVID.
No one knows.
We don't know. It's only been going on since January. So can I tell you it'll last for 2 years? Well, no, it'll probably be 2 years before I can tell you that. And I'm not sure. So you have a lot of those kinds of things that we are very impatient, and we would like to have our news as yes, no, right, wrong, good, bad, and unfortunately, life is not like that.
Yeah. If they just lived like you and I did, we wouldn't have any problem, right?
Is there a source that you can direct people? We don't want to live in fear. And so I think information helps people not be fearful. Is there a source that, I know there's many, obviously 5,000 per day, but where do you go to find information that might be helpful to calm some of those fears?
I've got several things. WebMD is probably one of the best websites around for general information for patients with current information. The Mayo Clinic has a website that is excellent, that is very balanced and evidence-based. I still use things like the CDC website, looking for reliable information. I do look at some government websites, but quite frankly, with as much politics is involved in it,
It's election year.
Yeah.
if I want medical information, I go to a medical site.
Yeah. Okay.
If I want political information, I go to political site. You know, and so you have to have a little bit of both, because if, for instance, the mayor of Kansas City came out and said everybody has to wear a mask, well, that's important to know that, because I'd like to comply with the law as well
Sure.
as the medical science, even though I may or may not agree with everything that the mayor or the city council in everything, every area, I still have to be aware of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one thing we want you to know here at Asbury and other people who are watching is we're not trying to guilt anyone. We're not going to put up a sign that says, if you don't wear a mask, you are not welcome here. Absolutely not. If you don't wear a mask, you are putting all of us in danger. We're not going to put that kind of stuff out there. We believe in something called common sense. We think that's important, even though it's not common anymore. But we do believe in common sense. We do believe in, as what I preached a couple weeks ago, in loving God and loving neighbor. And so when we do that, we realize that it's a grace issue, and grace is other person centered. So we have to be careful not to think about ourselves first. Do I like wearing masks? You all know I'm not a fan, but I am a fan of you. So I want you to know that, as far as you as Asbury folks and so forth. So that's why we're having this discussion. Not that we're going to change your minds one way or another, wherever you may happen to be. We're not out to do that. We're just trying to provide some information, I think. And we could go on, but I think that might be helpful enough. Do you think, Sarah?
I do. Yeah, I think helping people understand
Yeah.
where we're coming from is
Yeah.
super important, and where to get good information.
Yeah. And so
Very valuable.
That's what we're trying to do. And you know, for those of you who are not comfortable yet as far as coming, that is absolutely fine. We are blessed with our technology, so we're able to still reach out to you. If you feel comfortable, we'd love to have you, because it's great seeing people again. If you wear a mask, that's awesome. If you choose not to wear a mask, that's awesome. We're asking everyone just pay attention to the social distancing piece, washing the hands. We have plenty of the hand sanitizer all over the place, that kind of stuff. So we just want to let you know that as well. So that's kind of where we're at. I appreciate it, JP,
Sure.
for you coming in. And, you know, if you have questions, holler at us, and we'll try to do the best we can to answer. For me, as a pastor, I like to defer these things to not only JP, but we have some other medical folks on the church board and leadership. I sent a text yesterday to 3 of them regarding a question I had, and they were all very helpful. And so it's good to always surround yourself with wise counsel. That's where we're at. We pray that you'd all have a blessed day. And Sarah, I think that's what we have for now.
Sounds good. Thanks for
All
your
right.
time, guys.
All right. Thanks.
Have a good
Bye.
day.
Bye.